You know, it's almost like your birthday with a package from China, so let's go. Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. In today's video, I just wanted to take a close look at the Handheld RG35XX Plus. It just came in and I just wanted to check it out with you guys. What are we getting? So first of all, there are three versions. The grey, or let's say the retro version, translucent black, and the white edition. I got myself the white edition today. So first of all, Handheld, for the people who have no idea what Handheld is, it's a very familiar brand from China nowadays. Releases too many of these devices, but the consistency of the overall quality, I can tell you with Handheld is absolutely great. But this new Plus model is absolutely improved in many different ways. So inside the package we're going to get ourselves the needed, let's say, wipes for cleaning, because we also have a special screen protector. So it's kind of cool that they implemented it. I wish they just slapped it on so I don't need to do it myself because I'm not good at it. In here we're finding the USB cable for data transfer and charging, but there is no power supply. You just can use yourself like a 5V 2A for charging the device. It also includes an instruction, and the instruction itself is unfoldable. I really hate these freaking things, but some quick explanations how this thing will work and everything else. Okay, so the first thing I noticed when holding this thing in my hand, it feels really solid. And I mean, not like too heavy, but the way how it actually feels, the weight, is quite nice. But with the 188 grams, it absolutely hits the sweet spot, because this is a very nice weight, but not too heavy. But how about the overall ergonomics, and what are we having when it comes to the, let's say, quality of the D-pad and the front-facing buttons and everything else? But how about the ergonomics of the back buttons? I am very surprised to see that they are listening to the community and trying to improve the products every single time. So you can just see how they basically created this special, let's say, way you can just lay your fingers in this. And what you're getting, you can reach both of the buttons fairly easy. And that is one of those things that I personally really love about it. I have seen it before with different brands, but not to this certain level. At the side we're going to have two SD card slots. There is only one enabled. This will also contain the firmware, and of course you can use the second one pure storage. Then the on and off switch and the reset button. So at the bottom we're finding the Type-C connection with a headphone, and at the left we're finding the volume control, and on top we're even having an HDMI out. And I think that's a feature we do see more often with these budget devices. And not to forget, both of the LEDs. But the HDMI, let's plug it in and let's see how it actually works. So the HDMI port works absolutely great. If you're in a game, you need to exit the game, because if you're going to do the connecting in the game, it doesn't do anything. You need to be in the main menu for having the option to activate the HDMI output. And the overall signal output looks pretty damn great. And it's just a very cool and easy way to play your games on the television. But also, if you're going to be configuring this on a Bluetooth controller, you can just actually use this thing as a game box. And I think that is absolutely great. Oh man, that scan lights are freaking awful. So let's basically shut that up and pack the HD filter. Still looks kind of weird. But you do notice when it comes to the filters, especially on the monitor itself, man, the fast option with no filters plays so much better on the television. But how about the D-pad and the front-facing 4 buttons? And of course the menu and the select to start. So with the D-pad, oh man, I am excited. This is absolutely the Plus model. The way how this actually feels, there's a very nice resistance of the D-pad. It doesn't have a nice curve to it, but it's not a negative thing. The feel, by the way, how it reacts, I was really flabbergasted. Especially when I just want to play some fighting games, this thing feels absolutely great. The D-pad itself is perfect, absolutely. Beside my personal handicap that I can't get my moves out, it's nothing to do with the D-pad. You can see it works perfectly every single time. And if you want to do a Shoryuken, you can do that without any problem. So the movement of the D-pad are just great for fighting games. On the other hand, when you're looking at the ABXY buttons, where I hate these small buttons, this is not bad at all. Having this beautiful round shape will give this thing way more ergonomic. Also, the feedback of it, that is just absolutely amazing. When you're just going to be feeling it, it's just a very great, absolutely pleasant experience. And there is some little bit of wiggle to it, but not to a point that's going to be annoying. Select and start are not the rubberized stuff that we have seen with different handhelds. Don't really mind it, have a nice touch, and the same goes for the menu. The menu button is slightly longer and it does have a very long travel, but of course this is not really interesting because it's just a menu button. But just want to point it out, yeah. So one of the key features of the device is of course for me the audio. Some will use the headphone, but when it comes to the audio itself, this sounds pretty damn great. So I already upgraded the outer side of the device in many different ways. The plus is also in the internal part, where they upgraded the specification list of the RG35XX Plus. And when you're looking at it, it's kind of cool, but how will it in the end perform? So let's boot it up. But when you're going to be booting it up, it's absolutely just a basic layout. Wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be any, let's say, custom firmwares with even an improvement when it comes to the layout and how everything will look. In the first part, here we're having all of the different systems. PlayStation Portable, PlayStation 1 games, Vertical Arcade. It's kind of cool that they made a special topic out of this. And even MAME and many different systems that we wanted to check out. But over here we're even having the RA game, and here we find all the other systems, including some Sega Dreamcast and Open BOR or Open Bore. So we have all kinds of different systems here you can play, even on Thomas Wave and Naomi systems. Then over here having the favorite list that you can make from your games, and then the history, the games that you have played. Nevertheless, I think it's a pretty damn cool looking device. Pressing the menu button will give you the access to the different menu, where we can check out the battery voltage, where we can check out the lock screen and change it out if you want to mess around with this. And also the brightness control can be changed out. We have 5 levels of this. I'm just going to leave it on 5. EO testing, date and time, language setting, with a couple of settings, not a lot. And here we can even start into RetroArch. And of course the Bluetooth settings, we're having an enable it and check it out if you want to, let's say, use this thing like a game system, plug in the HDMI, and you can even use an external controller and use this thing like a game box. If you're going to be starting up a game and pressing the menu button again, here we're finding all extra options. If you want to make a quick load, quick save, with PlayStation 1 even having the disc control, the video display effect, and then the backlight brightness can all be changed out over here, and even different kind of BIOSes can be swapped out. So it's kind of cool. Where this thing looks kind of basic when it comes to the overall menu, it does have a lot of functionalities. But in the next feature checkup, I wanted to show you when you're going to pressing the menu button over here, having the video display effect. We have different kind of settings where we can mess around with the display. We're starting off with the HD and moving on to other ones. So this is actually the HD filter, scanline filter number 1, scanline filter number 2, and this is the fast filter. Then we're having the dot matrix display and back to the HD again. Then we're having the aspect ratio options, where we're having now set to aspect 1:1, or in other words, the perfect resolution, the overlay feature, and back to the full screen option. So that's basically the options we're having when it comes to internal, let's say, switching out between bezels, without bezel, and all the other kind of filters. So absolutely great, and I must say that I'm surprised at how many options we're having when it comes to the quick menu. Everything that I absolutely wanted with many cheap devices nowadays. One other cool feature, if you have any problems with the game system, you don't want to tinker too much. So what you can do is pressing the Y button by selecting a core, and here we can switch between the emulators or the cores. I think it's pretty damn awesome. Even here you can switch it out if you have any problems when it comes to the overall performance. Super easy, you don't need to go into RetroArch and mess around with it. But it's kind of cool that you're pressing the menu button, already shown you before, but you can even change it out to different kind of BIOS files if you're going to be loading it up. What's kind of weird that it does shows it, but when you're actually choosing it, it's not going to be doing anything, so I'm guessing it's not on the background. So take consideration that you need it sometimes to add these things yourself. When you're using the different systems, and I mean through the RetroArch, we don't have the same basic customization options. You will automatically boot it up into RetroArch, where we can make a quick load, quick save, and mess around with the feature, or as like with the RetroArch and all the features. So it's going to be more complex, but I just wanted to showcase that is one of those things. If you're being in the RetroArch build, or better said in the RetroArch game system, here we do have some quick things that we can change out. For example, what I do find very pleasant, that we have the option to go to the last page, and here we can even find the apps. And yep, there is no problem whatsoever. These devices are just playing absolutely great on this. But let's move into the more demanding systems. One of them is PlayStation, but we have reached the point that we can just play these games without any problems whatsoever. And that's absolutely great. The D-pad feels perfectly, especially when you're looking at, let's say, the way how this just feels, how you can do your move with this particular game. So one of the cool systems that I love to play on these devices is Sega Dreamcast, and with the more power you're also going to have way better overall performance, and you can just see it actually playing some Soul Calibur. It's absolutely running perfectly without any problems whatsoever. But how about PlayStation Portable? I think this is the most demanding system on here. And you can just see that it looks amazing with the two banners. It's kind of smart, otherwise it would be stretched out and looking kind of funny. But for the best aspect ratio for the original games, how they should be played, they enabled this. But unfortunate when you're looking into the games. Maybe with some tweaking we can get some better performance. But PlayStation Portable is just too much at this point. And this is not the way how we actually want to play. Take consideration two-dimensional games will have a slightly better overall performance, but this is what we're getting. And especially when you're looking at not only the specification list, but the price you're paying for a device like this. The RG35XX Plus is absolutely an upgrade from the older model. It's a significant upgrade in many different ways. Not only the hardware upgrade, but also when it comes to the outer shell. Just everything, the D-pad, the back buttons and the replaceable battery. There are so many, like say, minor details they upgraded, makes this thing so much better. But will this be the ultimate device you can pick up for the money? Yeah, there are so many different choices out there. Maybe we can do some more side-by-side comparison. For now, I want to thank you all for watching. Consider subscribing, hit that little bell, and it would be great to see you in the next video.